You're such a lucky guy. Man, people said that to me all the damn time. I'm Marcus, 32. I teach high school English out in Austin. Simple guy. Good paycheck. Chill life. I don't party. I don't cheat. And I can make a killer grilled cheese. 3 weeks ago, I was engaged to Celeste, this insanely charismatic wedding planner I met through a friend of a friend during a community fundraiser. She was everything. Or so I thought. Gorgeous, talkative, the kind of woman who could walk into a room and make it feel like a movie set. And she picked me. That was the thought that looped in my head every time I saw her. Me, the guy with chipped mugs and Target t-shirts. We dated for a little over 2 years. Everything moved fast. She had connections, ambition, a Pinterest board that could qualify as a doctoral thesis. She wanted the perfect wedding. No expense spared, a ranch ceremony, sunset photos, handwritten vows. And because I loved her, or at least who I thought she was, I said yes to all of it. I even sold my pickup to help cover the venue deposit. Yeah, that's love, right. Well, that was before the text. Last month, unknown number just sent me a video. Dude, are you okay? It was a regular Thursday. We were 2 weeks out from the wedding. I was grading essays when my buddy Jamal, my best man, sent me a message. Just 5 words and a link. Bro, is this Celeste? Click. Boom. My stomach dropped so fast I swear my soul left my body for a second. There she was, Celeste, sitting on some guy's lap at what looked like a rooftop party in Scottsdale. Laughing, drinking, kissing him on the cheek. The caption, "Cheers to my girl and her big weekend hash fiancé." WTF? I called Jamal immediately. Where'd you get this? It popped up on some viral Reddit thread. A guy posted saying his fiancé was acting weird. Turns out, she was engaged to 2 dudes. I laughed. Like, actually laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was so surreal I couldn't process it. No, couldn't be her. Maybe it was old. Maybe it was photoshopped. Maybe... Then I saw the dress. The damn dress she'd picked out 2 weeks ago. Still had the receipt from the boutique in my email. The same champagne silk. The same sleeves she had altered. It was her. 2 weeks ago. Hey, babe, can we talk about our seating chart? I didn't confront her immediately. Some part of me wanted to scream. Another part needed confirmation. Needed her to hang herself with her own words. So I played dumb. That weekend, she asked me to go over final RSVPs. I sat across from her, nodding, smiling, asking dumb questions like, should we move your cousin next to your college friend? Do you think the band needs more time for setup? All while knowing she was swapping I love yous with another man in another state. I started checking everything. Her Venmo payment to Aviator Hotel Scottsdale. Her email reservation under a different name. But same personal contact. Even her Uber account rides between airports and restaurants in Arizona. She lied, like it was nothing. That night, I laid next to her while she scrolled through Instagram, pretending to plan the playlist for our reception. Meanwhile, I was making a new playlist in my head called Things I'm About to Burn to the Fucking Ground. 1 week ago, there's something I need to show you. This guy, the other, fiancé, his name was Liam. He found me before I found him. Turns out he saw the same viral clip Jamal sent me. Traced Celeste's email from a shared doc. Found my wedding website. He messaged me directly. You're marrying Celeste. I think we should talk. We FaceTimed. He was a graphic designer from Phoenix. Sweet dude. Honestly, too soft for the crap she pulled on both of us. He'd proposed a month before I did. She said yes to him too. Claimed she was flying to Vegas for a bridal convention. Nah, she was bouncing between 2 men and 2 separate weddings. Liam was devastated. I was fuming, but he wanted to disappear. Me? Screw that. This morning, let her finish planning it. I didn't call it off. I didn't rage. I let Celeste plan the rest of her dream wedding. Cake tasting. I said the pistachio one was great. Venue walkthrough, I nodded, while she adjusted the altar flower count. Last-minute seating swap. Sure. Babe, whatever you need. Because if she wanted a fairy tale wedding, I was going to give her exactly that. And then tear the curtains down in front of everyone she ever tried to impress. Last night was the rehearsal dinner. Her family was glowing. Her dad gave a toast about how lucky I was to join their family. Her mom was crying. Celeste looked like she just won a damn Oscar. Meanwhile, I sat there with a smile so fake my jaw hurt. I swear, every second I kept thinking, how is she pulling this off so effortlessly? She hugged me from behind at one point and whispered, "One more day, baby." Yeah, one more. I had the video ready, the messages, the proof, the plan. But I needed the right moment, the kind that doesn't just sting at brands, something she couldn't spin, couldn't backpedal from, couldn't crocodile tear her way out of. After the dinner, I went home alone, told her I wanted to sleep early to feel fresh tomorrow. Truth, I sat in my car for an hour, watching the rehearsal recap videos she sent to our shared wedding Dropbox like some sick parody of a rom-com. Each upload felt like a countdown to detonation. This morning, she was buzzing, literally humming while curling her hair. She kissed me on the cheek, gave me a little hip bump like we were some quirky couple from a Netflix original, and said, "See you at the altar." Sure, you definitely will. The wedding was set at this ranch-style estate about an hour out of Austin. The kind of place that makes you feel like you should have worn boots even if you hate country music. White chairs, string lights, mason jar lemonade, all her Pinterest fantasies, live and in 4K. Guests started arriving early, her co-workers, childhood friends. My department head from school, Jamal, was already in position. We made eye contact across the courtyard. He gave me the smallest nod like, "You still sure about this?" Hell yes, I was, but I wasn't gonna just drop a truth bomb. That's easy, that's emotional. No, I wanted precision. You know what they say about revenge, right? Cold, calculated, public. Inside the little chapel, everything looked disgustingly perfect. The aisle was sprinkled with rose petals. The arch had that stupid custom sign she made the M&C story begins. Spoiler alert, see, this story's already over. I stood at the front like every other groom. Calm, confident, numb. The music started. People stood. And there she was, walking down the aisle in that same champagne dress from the video. Radiant, grinning like she actually believed this was real. Her dad walked her halfway and kissed her on the cheek like they were handing off a family heirloom. They reached the altar. I took her hand. I looked in her eyes. She looked like she was home. For a second, it messed with my head, like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was throwing away something good. Maybe... No, I wasn't crazy. She was just a better liar than I thought. The officiant started the speech. Love, commitment, blah, blah, blah. And then Marcus, "Do you take Celeste to be your lawfully wedded wife?" This was it. I cleared my throat, looked straight at her, and said, "Actually, before I answer that, I've got something to show you." Boom! A screen rolled down from behind the altar. Jamal tapped the projector on cue. The video started with a photo of us at our engagement party, laughing, toasting, in love. Then it cut to Celeste in Scottsdale, sitting on Liam's lap, drinking, kissing, holding his hand, smiling. Gasps, real ones, like someone opened a trapdoor. Then came the messages, screenshots, receipts. Her telling Liam she couldn't wait to be Mrs. B, his last name. Her calling me the safety net. Someone in the back actually said, "Jesus Christ." I looked over at her. She was pale, frozen, hands shaking. "You told me I was your one and only. You told Liam the same thing. So, before I say I do, I thought everyone deserved the full picture." You could hear her mom whisper, "What the hell is going on?" The officiant looked like he wanted to melt into the floor. Jamal just stood there stone-faced, arms crossed, like he was watching House of the Dragon live. Celeste, she finally snapped out of it. "Marcus, wait, I can explain." I stepped back. "No, don't. I let you talk for 2 years. Now you can listen." I turned to the guests. "I'm not marrying her. She's been engaged to another man. She lied. She cheated. She planned this entire wedding while playing 2 different lives in 2 different states. Her dad looked like he'd just swallowed a cactus. She lunged forward, probably to stop me or beg or whatever performance she had locked and loaded, but I walked right past her, down the aisle. Out the door, not another word. You'd think that'd be the end, but oh no. Turns out when a wedding implodes mid-ceremony with visual aids and 70 witnesses, the ripple effects are massive. By the time I got back to my apartment, my phone was lighting up like a slot machine. Text from her mom. How dare you embarrass our family like that? You could have handled this privately. Text from Celeste. Marcus, please, please, please. I can't breathe. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I love you, not him. Right. Voice message from Liam. Dude, you're a legend. I didn't think you'd actually go through with it. I owe you a drink or 10. And my favorite, one of Celeste's bridesmaids, Alyssa, always low-key, side-eyeing me DM'd. Honestly, she had it coming. I knew something was off. You're better than her. Damn right I am. It didn't stop there. That night, someone who was at the wedding posted a clip on TikTok. Just a few seconds of the video playing at the altar, and my line I thought everyone deserved the full picture. It blew up. I'm talking 500,000 likes in a day. Hashtags like #groom dropped the receipts and #fiancé fails were trending. People were duetting it, making memes, even adding dramatic music. Celeste went private on everything. Deleted her business accounts. Her company tried distancing themselves, but the screenshots were already out. Turns out, people don't want their weddings planned by someone who can't even stick to one fiancé. Her world unraveled in slow motion. Clients canceled. Sponsors dropped her. One of her viral wedding inspiration boards was replaced by a Reddit thread dragging her. Justice. And I started sleeping better than I had in months. But here's the part people don't talk about after revenge. Yeah, it feels amazing to blow it up. To watch someone who played you fall face first into their own trap. But after the fire, it's just quiet. No more wedding, no more to-do list, just empty weekends and refund requests. Still, I wouldn't undo it, not even close. Because if I'd stayed silent, if I'd swallowed the betrayal to keep the peace, I would have married someone who saw me as a backup plan, a prop, a placeholder. Instead, I walked away with my dignity intact. A new best friend in Liam Weird, I know. And a community of strangers on the internet calling me a king. That's more than most grooms get. And honestly, that's enough. 2 days after the wedding, that never was, I went back to the venue. Not to make a scene or pick through the ashes or whatever. I just needed to see it empty. The chairs were still there, but all the flowers had wilted. The arch was half collapsed, like it knew the whole thing had been bullshit from the start. There were programs scattered in the grass, little folded lies with M+C forever printed on the cover. I picked one up and laughed so hard I actually choked. Forever? Huh. Anyway, I stood there for a while, letting the silence hit me. The kind of silence you can only hear after a storm. I think I needed to prove to myself that it was over, like really over. No fantasy, no what-ifs. Just me and the wreckage. And you know what? It felt damn good. That week, the fallout kept coming. Celeste tried to do damage control like her reputation was a PR crisis, not a consequence of actual behavior. She posted a now deleted Instagram story with a black background and white text that said something like, "Some things are better left unsaid. Not everyone needs to know the full story. Love is complicated. Girl, you were engaged to 2 people at the same time. That's not complicated, that's just nasty math." People were already in her comments with things like, "Full story. You mean the receipts the groom showed on a projector? You're the reason I trust no one. Thanks for the trauma. Did you plan both weddings with the same floral vendor or nah?" I'd be lying if I said I didn't smile scrolling through that. Jamal stopped by later that week with a 6-pack and zero subtlety. You good to find good, not throwing plates or crying in the shower. Then yeah, I guess I'm great. We drank, we talked, we laughed too hard at dumb memes, but then he got serious for a second and said, I'm proud of you, bro, not just for what you did, but for how you did it. That hit. Because for a while I thought I was going to explode, thought I'd lose it. But I didn't. I stayed cool. I made a plan. I delivered it like a goddamn monologue. Controlled, surgical, devastating. And in doing so, I finally got out of something I didn't even know was killing me. Here's the wild part. I didn't expect I started remembering all the little moments that didn't make sense before. Like this one time, she told me I overthought everything when I asked about a random Venmo to someone named Jay. Or how she'd go cold after phone calls and say she was just tired, but never look me in the eye. Or when she asked me not to invite my college friends to the wedding because they were too loud, which, now I realize, meant too honest. I had chalked it all up to stress, planning, personality quirks, whatever. But in hindsight, those were red flags wrapped in rose gold napkin rings. One thing I'm proud of, I didn't spiral. I didn't drunk text her, didn't call, didn't stalk her socials past the initial disaster. She tried. First, the apology route. Marcus, I know I messed up, but I love you. I was scared. I didn't mean to hurt you. Then the guilt bait. Do you know what it's like to wake up to death threats? This isn't just your life that changed. Yeah, because I ruined your image, please. Then came the nostalgia trap. I miss the way you used to look at me, like I was your future. Well, I miss not being humiliated in front of my grandma and 70 guests. We all have losses. Eventually, I blocked her. And let me say this clearly for anyone who needs to hear it. Blocking someone is not petty. It's self-respect. Meanwhile, Liam and I kept texting like two ex-prisoners who escaped the same cult. We actually met up in person, neutral ground, coffee shop downtown. At first it was awkward. Two guys connected by one lying fiancé. Yeah, weird. But then he pulled out a paper bag and said, I brought you something. Inside was a slice of wedding cake. Not our wedding cake, obviously. Just cake, with a note, for the wedding that should have been yours. We laughed, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like the punchline. I felt human again. A week later, I started journaling. Yeah, I know how that sounds. But I needed to get the noise out of my head, the constant replay of events, the what-ifs, the dumb little conversations we had that felt fake now. One entry just said, she looked me in the eye and said forever, while she was planning an exit strategy with someone else. I was building a home. She was building an escape room. That one stayed with me. Because that's the part that hurts the most. Not the cheating, not even the humiliation. It's the fraud. The idea that someone could look at you, smile, say I love you, and still be texting another man from the airport lounge. It makes you question everything. Your judgment, your memory, your gut. But here's the thing. I wasn't stupid. I was just honest. She wasn't smarter. She was just a better liar. And I'm done punishing myself for trusting the wrong person. Now. Life's quieter. The wedding refunds are coming through. Slowly. My mom's still mad that she bought a dress she'll never wear. But she also said, I'd rather cry in Macy's than watch you marry a manipulator. I started running again, not from anything, just for the peace of it. I finally repainted my guest room, tossed out the engagement photos, and changed my Wi-Fi password from Celeste Forever to ByFelicia23. Petty maybe. But God, it feels good. I'm not saying I'm over it. Healing's not linear, and some nights still hit weird. But I'm getting there, one day at a time, because I didn't just dodge a bullet. I dodged a whole damn grenade in a wedding dress. And now, I'm walking forward. No ring, no ceremony, but with something way more valuable. My F***king self back. ChatGPT said a few days after everything exploded, I got a message from someone I hadn't heard from in years. Emily? She was my ex from back in college, first real relationship. Ended mostly because of timing and distance. We hadn't talked since 2018, so when her name popped up on my phone, I just stared at it for a second, like it was some kind of glitch. Her message was simple. Saw what happened. Just wanted to say I'm proud of you. That couldn't have been easy. It wasn't flirty or awkward, just kind human. We texted a little, caught up. She told me she was in Dallas now, working in public health. Had a dog named Baxter. Hated her upstairs neighbors. We didn't plan to meet or rekindle anything, and honestly, I didn't want that. But it felt good. To know someone from my past, someone who knew me before all the lies and chaos, still saw something good in me. It was one of the first moments I realized I hadn't lost everything. I just cleared the damn table. I started seeing a therapist. Yeah, I know. Classic post-betrayal move. But I wasn't trying to fix myself. I just needed someone who wasn't my boys or my mom or Reddit commenters to help me make sense of the noise in my head. Her name was Dr. Keller, super chill, mid-40s. Probably wore Crocs, unironically. First thing she said to me, "So you left someone at the altar? How's your breathing today?" I laughed, hard. She had this way of not making it feel clinical or heavy. Over the weeks, we talked about betrayal, trust, boundaries. Why I didn't speak up sooner. Why I doubted myself, even when the proof was slapping me in the face. One session, I said, I feel stupid for not seeing it earlier. She looked right at me and said, "You weren't stupid. You were hopeful. And hope is not a weakness, it's a risk." That one hit me like a damn freight train. Meanwhile, Celeste kept trying to crawl back into the picture. Blocked numbers, fake accounts, even an email from some wedding vendor she once worked with, clearly her using someone else's login. The message said, "You got your revenge. You ruined me. Can't we just talk privately? No audience?" First of all, ruined you. You ruined your damn self. I just hit play. Second, nah. There's no private version of this conversation that suddenly erases the public betrayal. You can't cheat on someone. Lie for months. Stage a whole wedding and then ask for privacy once the curtain drops. So I didn't respond. I just deleted it. Power move hash 143 silence. Jamal and I started joking about writing a book, something like How to Spot a Sociopath and 10 Wedding Planning Steps. He even made a fake cover mock-up, my face photoshopped into a tux, holding a flaming bouquet. We laughed so hard we nearly cried. But under the jokes, I knew he was worried. One night, while we were watching football, he just said it. "You know you're allowed to be angry, right? Like, really angry?" I nodded. I was angry, but I wasn't rage-punch-the-wall angry. I was quiet angry, the kind that simmers and shifts, the kind that makes you look at yourself and go, never again. Something weird started happening a couple weeks in. People I barely knew started reaching out. Old students, former coworkers, even one of my cousin's friends I'd met twice at Thanksgiving. They were all saying the same thing. "Thank you. I wish I had your courage." At first, I didn't get it. Courage, I felt like I'd just survived something awful, not conquered it. I didn't feel brave, I felt tired. But then I started reading their stories, people who'd stayed in toxic relationships for years, people who ignored red flags out of fear, people who swallowed betrayal just to keep the peace. They weren't praising the event, they were praising the choice to walk away, to expose, to say, "This isn't love." And it made me realize I wasn't just healing. I was becoming an example. Not a perfect one, not a guru, but a guy who got burned and still stood up. That counted for something. I got back into my classroom about a month after the whole mess. At first, I was nervous. High school kids don't miss anything. I figured someone would bring it up the wedding that didn't happen, the viral video, but they didn't, at least not to my face. One of my seniors left a post-it on my desk the first day back. "Mr. Be glad you're still standing. Let us know if we ever need to roast a cheater." I smiled. I kept that note in my desk drawer, and I taught the hell out of Shakespeare that week. There was one moment, though small but sharp, that nearly broke me. I was cleaning out the storage closet at home, trying to reorganize the guest room, and I found the box of wedding favors. Little glass jars of homemade honey we'd ordered with sweet beginnings printed on the lid. I sat on the floor and stared at them for like 10 minutes. They looked so sincere, so hopeful, so fake. I could have thrown them out. Instead, I donated them to a local shelter, left a note that said, "Sometimes sweetness comes from endings, not beginnings." Yeah, maybe I was being poetic. Maybe I just needed the symbolism. But it helped. One night, I was out at a bar with some coworkers after finals week. It was late. I was a few beers in. This woman at the bar struck up a conversation with me. Her name was Rachel. Funny, sharp. Asked me if I wanted to play darts. I said yes. We talked, laughed. She beat me, of course. Then she said, casually, "You have the vibe of someone who's had their heart drop kicked recently. Just a guess." I raised an eyebrow. That obvious. Only to people who've had the same thing happen. We didn't get deep. We didn't exchange numbers. But we did toast to survival. To shitty exes and better boundaries, she said. Clink. By the end of that month, something had shifted in me. Not closure. I don't even think I believe in closure anymore. But clarity. I didn't need to forgive her to move on. I didn't need to erase what happened. I just needed to understand that not everything broken has to be fixed. Some things just stay broken. And that's okay. Because I'm not broken. Not anymore. And every time I feel myself slipping into doubt or anger or nostalgia, I just remember that moment at the altar, looking her in the eyes, feeling absolutely calm, and saying, "I thought everyone deserved the full picture." That was my turning point, the moment I took my story back. And now, every step forward, it's mine too. A couple months out, life started feeling normal again. Not fake normal, like when you're pretending everything's fine while your world's on fire, but real normal, like waking up without checking your phone for chaos, like going to the grocery store and not getting punched in the gut by aisle 9 because you saw her favorite coffee creamer. The silence, the stillness, it stopped being scary. It became mine. And then something weird happened. I started thinking about purpose. Not in some deep, philosophical TED Talk kind of way. Just, what now? I wasn't trying to rebuild the life I had with Celeste. That thing was built on sand. But I was finally free to build something new, something honest. So I started saying yes to stuff again. Volunteering. Mentoring a couple students over the summer. Signing up for a writing workshop even though I hadn't written anything real in years. I didn't know what I was looking for, but I knew I wasn't going to find it scrolling Instagram and silently judging other people's engagements. One weekend, I got an invite from Jamal. Couple folks from college are meeting at the lake. Bring beer, leave trauma. Fair? I showed up with a cooler and no expectations. It was chill, sun, music, people I hadn't seen since senior year. They asked me how I'd been, and I gave the short version. Left my fiancé at the altar, went viral, now I teach Shakespeare and don't cry in the shower anymore. One dude fist bumped me, another offered tequila. A girl named Brianna said, "You have main character energy now." That's hot. I didn't know how to respond to that, and so I just laughed. We swam, ate burnt hot dogs, talked trash over board games for a few hours. I forgot what heartbreak felt like. It wasn't healing, not exactly, but it was joy, and I hadn't felt that in a while. The writing workshop ended up being a bigger deal than I thought. It was this small group that met twice a week in the back of a bookstore, all folding chairs and coffee breath, mostly people older than me, a few retirees. One teenager who wrote about dragons like her life depended on it, and me. I didn't plan to share. I was just there to listen. But then, the instructor asked if anyone had ever written about something they couldn't say out loud. I raised my hand before my brain could stop me. That night, I read a piece called The Altar. No names, no timeline, just the image of a man realizing the person he loved never truly existed, just a version, a mask, a marketing pitch and heels. When I finished, the room was quiet. Then someone said, "That felt like bleeding on paper," and I smiled, because that's exactly what it was. Around this time, I bumped into Celeste's maid of honor at a grocery store, Grace. She looked uncomfortable, like she was hoping I wouldn't recognize her in leggings and a hoodie. I didn't start anything, just gave her a nod, kept walking, but she followed me to the checkout line and said, "Hey, Marcus, I just wanted to say I'm sorry." I raised an eyebrow. "For what?" She swallowed, looked down, then said, "For knowing not all of it, but enough. I saw her texting someone a lot. I even asked her once, like, 'Are you sure you're ready for this?' And she just laughed it off. I should have pushed harder, should have told you." I didn't say anything at first. I just looked at her, this person, who had stood next to Celeste while she lied to my face, smiling the whole time. But I didn't feel anger. I felt tired, sad. Not for me, for all of us. So I said, "You didn't owe me truth back then, but you're giving it now. That counts." She nodded, tears in her eyes. And then she walked out the sliding doors, leaving behind a weird kind of closure I didn't know I needed. One night, I was grading essays when I got a call from my mom. She asked how I was really doing, and for once, I told her the truth. Better, still kind of rebuilding, but I don't feel lost anymore. She was quiet for a second. Then she said, "You always tried to save people. Marcus, maybe now it's your turn to save yourself." And damn if that didn't hit harder than I expected. Because she was right. I used to think love meant carrying someone else's weight, forgiving their mistakes before they even apologized, filling in the gaps they refused to name. But I wasn't doing that anymore. Now, I was setting boundaries. Now, I was loving myself more than the version of me that just wanted to be chosen. The viral video slowed down. Eventually, TikTok moved on to some new drama. People stopped recognizing me at gas stations. Thank God. But one day, I got an email from a podcast, some relationship thing that wanted to interview me about what they called performative love and personal courage. I rolled my eyes, almost deleted it. But something told me to say yes. We recorded it over Zoom, just me and a host named Dana who was way too comfortable asking deep questions. She asked me what I'd say to someone who just found out their partner cheated. I paused, then said, "Don't rush forgiveness or revenge. Just sit with it. It's not weakness to admit it hurts. Let it hurt. Then decide who you want to be when the pain fades." She nodded, then said, "That's real. Most people never say the part about letting it hurt." And yeah, that's the part no one talks about. Not long after, I got a letter. An actual letter, handwritten, no return address. Inside was a small folded note that just said, "You made the right call. I didn't, back when it was my turn. Watching you choose yourself reminded me I still can. Thank you." That one sat on my nightstand for weeks. Not because I was waiting for a name, but because sometimes the people you help never tell you who they are. They just take your story and carry it like a match into their own dark room. And light it up. So where am I now? Still teaching, still writing. I've started working on a memoir, maybe just for me, maybe more. I'm not dating yet, not seriously. I'm not scared, just building slowly, carefully. No more foundations made of fantasy. I know what I want now. Someone who tells the truth before it's convenient. Someone who doesn't flinch when it gets messy. Someone who sees love not as a performance, but as a choice you make every day, especially when it's hard. But for now, I'm good with late-night walks, long playlists, books that make me cry, and friends who remind me I'm not alone. I'm not waiting to be saved. I'm not hiding from the past. I'm just living fully, loudly, honestly, because I already lost a fake love once. I'll never lose myself again.